I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-macabre, it's time for the only news that matters on Black Sabbath Sunday. And for many years, there was a sense of rivalry between Ozzy Osbourne and Ronnie James Dio. After all, the latter had replaced the former as Black Sabbath singer. And that's a position no one would take lightly or appreciate having it taken from them. Both musicians made the best of their time and accomplished some truly incredible things. And the fan base no longer really argued over who was better. Both had a unique approach that can't be fairly compared. Toward the end of his life, Ozzy's opinion on Dio changed, and he began to look at him from a lighter perspective. A documentary called Ozzy No Escape From Now, which I still haven't seen. I know it's been out for months, and everybody's telling me it's great, but I don't own that damn channel, Paramount. But anyway, it's on Rolling Stone released a few interesting tidbits from it ahead of its release. One particularly important moment was Sharon's memory of Ozzy spending a lot of time watching Dio interviews on YouTube. Sharon said very often that it was like, "Why are you watching Ronnie?" she said. And he goes, "I feel sorry for him. I feel terrible." He never really listened to any of those Black Sabbath records at all. He never knew Ronnie. The first time he met him was when he tried to stab him at the Rainbow Bar and Grill with a fork. He never knew the guy and never knew his music. So he feels really bad. So he watches Ronnie James Dio interviews and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Alright, Ozzy has, I don't know, Sharon might, well, not might, she totally has it confused. Because, you know, there is a popular picture of Ozzy with Dio, you know, at some outdoor festival. And I heard in Dio interviews where Dio said, "Oh, when I was in Rainbow, Ozzy was great to me, you know, but once I joined Black Sabbath, he hated me." So he knew Dio back then. But yeah, and as far as he didn't listen, Ozzy did hear, it's not that he never listened to them. He did hear those Black Sabbath albums with Dio. And though he didn't slam it, he did say, it's not Black Sabbath, it's Rainbow. And honestly, I don't think it's Rainbow or Black Sabbath, you know? It's a great combination of both, but I think what Ronnie did with Tony was totally different than what he did with Blackmore, you know? But he did add some more, I don't know, perfection to both guitar players, I would say. But yeah, Ozzy, I'm sure he was jealous, but I mean, come on. How long can his jealousy have lasted once he blew up, seriously blew up with Diary of a Madman? Right there, right at that moment. I don't think he had anything to be jealous about anymore. Because that's when Ozzy took reins and owned not only Black Sabbath, he owned the 80s. He really did. He was the biggest heavy metal star, solo star, hands down. You know? And to this day, I can't think of any solo artist in the heavy metal realm as big as Ozzy. Nope, I can't think of any, you know? And, but you know, I mean, I was watching an interview the other day with Jack Osbourne and his brother, Louis, Ozzy's first son. And Louis said, look, man, I like Ozzy's solo career, but my heart's in Black Sabbath, you know? That's when I grew up, because he was born in 75. He was born smack in the middle of Black Sabbath. And he grew up on that stuff, but of course, he was on the Diary of a Madman tour. He knew all that solo stuff too, but I feel kind of the same way, man. As much as I love the solo stuff. I'm more of a Black Sabbath guy. But I gotta say, Diary of a Madman is as good as any Black Sabbath album, in my opinion. But overall, discography, those Black Sabbath albums, up to Never Say Die. I know a lot of people dismiss the last two. All of them rule to me. They're all amazing records, and they're all in different way, you know? Yeah, it may not be as good as the earlier stuff, but I still think it cranks. But, you know, I mean, popularity-wise, it was killing them. Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die did crap, and Heaven and Hell, it did great. It did amazing, you know. It really did put Black Sabbath back on the map, and it really, I mean, in my opinion, you know, I can see totally how. It's a better album than Never Say Die and Technical Ecstasy, you know. I guess it is, even though I would still put Never Say Die above it, even knowing that, yeah, whatever, man. Heaven and Hell is better than Never Say Die. But if I was to pick a Black Sabbath album to listen to, it'd be Never Say Die way more than Heaven and Hell. Actually, it'd be Never Say Die way more than any Black Sabbath album. But man, those Dio albums, especially the first two. I love The Humanizer, but I also think there's flaws on it. But I don't think there's any flaws on the first two. I love Walk Away. I love Slipping Away, whatever would be like, you know, the filler tracks. I thought it was killer filler. And I loved it. I loved Dio with Sabbath. It was just so precise, so in the pocket, so perfect. Where Ozzy Sabbath, it was more organic, human, you know, and I tend to gravitate more to the humanity aspect of music than perfection, but there's times I love to listen to perfection. And really, at the end of the day, it really shouldn't matter. As long as it's good, it doesn't matter what's better, you know? Heaven and Hell is not going to sound any worse compared to Sabotage, you know? Which I prefer Sabotage. I prefer Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I prefer a lot of earlier Black Sabbath stuff to Heaven and Hell, but it doesn't make Heaven and Hell any worse. That album was a game changer to me as a young kid, 15 years old. Getting that for the first time, seeing that tour. I snuck out of my house to see that tour. And when I got home, my dad beat me with the belt, and it was worth every lash. Every single lash. Because I got to see the Heaven and Hell tour with Johnny Van Zant and Riot, not Blue Oyster Cult. And it was an amazing show. It was unbelievable. I saw David Lee Roth do it later, but I never saw anyone at that point walk on stage with a joint. And that's exactly what Ronnie James Dio did. He walked on stage smoking a joint in the spotlight, showing us all he was smoking a joint before they went into Sweet Leaf. That was unbelievable to me. You know, I mean, my innocent youth, and it was way more innocent times than now. You know, now you expect shit like that. But back then you didn't. And it was, you know, wow, this guy's breaking the law on stage. What a badass. And he was, man. He was a badass. And I miss him dearly, man. And I miss Ozzy dearly. I'm going to miss them both. I already am missing them both. So much, man. But yeah, Sharon got the story confused. You know, maybe, you know, Ozzy did try to stab him with a fork. But I know they met back in the day, and then they met, it looks like later on, at an outdoor festival. But anyway, what do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. And what do you think of Dio Sabbath, you know, versus Ozzy Sabbath? Again, you know, what you may think is better is not better to other people, and vice versa. And that goes for me as well. So thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So, stay frosty. Listen to God Hates Heavy Metal by Ronnie James Dio and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.